rather San Gabriel now. Hard to get close to 605. 60 West on also still going for you now. Leaving the 71 into Diamond Bar goes to 57. Bit of release in the average for your instructors as you're heading through Rolling Heights and Industries from before Hunter and the Gold Bar time. Free drive to 605. Stay at find the Skyhook Super Their Factors. I'm Nick Collier.
Study a bachelor's, master's, or nursing degree in the classroom or online at Vanguard University, ranked as a top 10 university in the West by U.S. News and World Report for 12 consecutive years. At Vanguard, your story matters. Visit vanguard.edu to learn more.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing. Summit Racing has parts and accessories to keep your truck rolling right. Parts like lift kits, intakes, exhaust, tires, lighting, and more. From custom grills to tonneau covers, Summit Racing has you covered. SummitRacing.com. Everything you need for anything you drive. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country. With 20,000 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com. Carlos, Chevrolet, Costa Mesa. We have Silverados, Suburban, Tahoes, and all electric Bolt EVs. Our inventory is revealing at CarlosChevrolet.com. Find new roads at Carlos Chevrolet.
Wellington, so, you got some interesting takes. That's really Freaky. I see you're here. How you doing, Freaky? Can you hear me?
Regular exercise. That's okay. Practicing mindfulness.
I'm kicking ass, taking names. Every day's a holiday, every meal's a feast. How are things in your neck of the woods, baby?
Do you need to do some spring cleaning around the house? Take your home from this. To this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. For those of you who aren't aware, I stream my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, live on YouTube. I have more content than any person in global history, and we're really trying at a serious attempt at world peace. So please, if you can, follow the speakers on the panel here, share and retweet the room. We're going to be doing this all day, all night, until we can get a lot of people on board for world peace. I think that's something that everyone, we can agree that we shouldn't have war anymore. So if you can, please tell your friends that, there's a rabbi on Twitter Spaces who's doing his best to stream his entire life to the entire world. And I'm not live just on one camera. I'm live on 6 different cameras right now on YouTube alone. I'm also live on Twitter right now in this space, but I'm also live on Twitter video on another account, and I'm live on 2 different Discords and 7 different Instagrams. So when it comes to creating of data, I am the king of it. Bill Gates coined the phrase in the 1990s, content is king. And I'm the king of content. I have more content than any person in global history. And I want you all to know that when this gets big, we're going to make all your dreams come true. We're going to pay off all your debt. We're going to make sure that your kids can go to college and have all their education paid for generations. We're going to make intergenerational wealth for all of you. We have some really special people here. And so if you can, please tell all your friends that this is the biggest event in global history. We have a rabbi who is streaming his life online and has for about 2 years now, more than 666 straight days. This is a big deal. I'm live in 360 different degrees. So you can watch me straight on from the back, from my left to my right. You can even see me live on the ceiling. It's the biggest event. If you know how to find me, you just type in ViralRabbi, ViralRabbi, into YouTube and filter by live, and you'll find all 6 of my streams going. Or just look at the links in my account, and I have them right there. Pull up right away, and you should know you can always watch me whenever you want. You can watch me. I eat, I sleep, I go to the bathroom on camera, I shower on camera, I laugh on camera, I cry on camera. I really feel like what we're doing is creating the world's largest time capsule for future generations. People in the future will wonder what life was like during this time of when we're experiencing. And we have a perfect essential video from 6 different views of it online going all the time. With that, Freaky, I see that you have a project. Would you like to tell us about it? It seems that it's a Freaky Skulls gang. Is that correct? Freaky Skulls?
It was a skinny unit. Oh, not this is very good law enforcement. Right, no. This is a private, they call themselves a child advocacy group, pre-captured unit. I guess showed up at this guy's apartment and had the printouts of the online exchanges and turned on a video, and this dummy was like, yeah, you're right, I did. It was that. I know who are you guys, and you don't come in my house. That NBC show, they did exactly this. Oh, yeah.
Please do. You're more than welcome to, Freaky.
Home, knock on the door. Yeah. And little.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
As opposed to, someone comes up with a camera.
How did you get into this NFT? What was your inspiration?
Get the hell out of here. I think it was an entire series. It wasn't just a special. Yeah, that was a single one. I thought it was an entire. Predator is where they lure the person. Not argue how they under this and set it up. There was another show. I can't remember the name either. There was another show where they went to the houses of the bad guys and how many people fuck. And they so many of them just admitted it. But what are you doing?
This that Ed Darrington said, I know it was illegal. Yeah, when he said that on camera.
Yeah, well, that's a little problematic for his trial, which is not going to happen. You think he's going to plead out? Well, there's no indication he's going to be charged. Really? What do you think? Once you've admitted that, unless there's no prosecution, unless there's no one going forward, well, but you not. The people can always bring it to you. You don't need the boy here to press charges. It's more that the problem is going to just be can you translate the way that this information came out into an actual prosecution, right? And if it's only the video, that video's not right. And if it's only his confession, it's too easy to say, I wasn't thinking, I didn't know, I was, yeah, how about this? I don't know who these people are, they come to my home, I was afraid, right? And I thought, and maybe I was wrong and crazy, but I thought they would be less likely to hurt me, good point, if I admitted what they wanted me to admit. Yeah, I'm on the jury, I look at that. I'm not defending the guy, by the way. No, well, whoever has to defend this case, but I'm just saying there are avenues here. Oh, here he goes again. Federal Judge David O. Carter, you hear his name frequently in the media because he is overseeing this massive lawsuit that was between LA City, LA County, and the Homeless Alliance. The city settled. The county came into court this week with a settlement agreement that they had worked out with the people from the Alliance. And for the second time, Judge David O. Carter said, no, I will not accept this settlement that you folks have painstakingly worked out that will end the legal beef between you that brought you into my courtroom in the first place, because I don't think it does enough, but also because you're not giving me any oversight after the case is dismissed. I want to still be able to come back after you folks have shaken hands and gone your separate ways. I still want to be able to pop up and go, hey, I got a problem. LA County is already got to go back to square. LA County is arguing that their settlement has to be accepted by the judge and he has no jurisdiction. They're dreaming. It's under federal jurisdiction. Of course, the judge can say no to a plea. He can reject. He can certainly reject a settlement in a civil case that is depending on what the subject matter is. Yeah, I think if you're suing me for hitting your car, I'm not sure a judge can say, oh, you've worked it out. I refuse to let you work it out. But something like this, because it's a public. Yeah. Lawsuit. Anyway, the jury and even the Alliance now seems to be on board with like enough already. We worked something out. Can we please stop litigating and start implementing these ways to help the homeless community agree? Yeah, whenever you jump in, Wayne, I immediately default to the criminal justice system. So you're right. This was not a plea to criminality. This was a settlement. But the judge still has. He can either way. There are reasons he can reject it, and he's using at least two of them.
It was December 13th, 2016.
2022. I went back and looked up this story. How matters. So, put out this article. Throughout California, urban water managers are bracing for a fourth consecutive drought year. Nearly 1 out of 5 water agencies say they won't have enough water to meet demand next year. Fast forward to, 4 months later? Now California will provide 100% of the water requested by cities and farms for the first time in years, thanks to all the storms that filled our reservoirs with this record snowpack.
Yeah, it's amazing. And here's every single outlet was doing stories about this massive bloom, the wildflowers. I mean, everyone, I've seen it every single night, what the rain has done. Not only the water, but the wildflowers, which are super bleeding, yeah,
Absolutely.
ordinary.
Go ahead.
And then they tell you do not walk on flowers. People are walking on, looks like they're stomping grapes for wine. There's going to be nothing left of those flowers by next week. But it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and I just think it's fascinating that just a few months ago I was reporting, oh my God, we're not going to have enough
100% now.
Everybody's allegations are being, cut.
Yep, 100%.
Never mind, just kidding. 100%.
The man who allegedly, too into it, but just to say, the ball rolled in, kids went to get it, he yelled at the kids, one of the kids went and told his dad, that guy yelled at us, and apparently dad went over to confront the guy. So it wasn't a ball rolled in and he got there was some kind of verbal altercation, still way out of line what he did, but there's more to it than the headline. Yeah, but he also had a history, or reported he has a history of, screaming at the kids and he got a little off. So he shoots at the family, shoots the dad in the back. The little 6-year-old girl gets a ricochet of the bullet. The cheek, thank goodness, was only a cheek out place. Then leaves. Then he just gets the hell out of there. And I mean, there was no issue. They know who you are and manhunt. All right, we'll take a break, come back, and do more. Meantime, Jennifer live in KFI 24-hour news.
A woman who allegedly stole a medical transportation company van in Sherman Oaks with a 93-year-old passenger inside is facing kidnapping and other charges. The van was swiped yesterday when the driver got out to pick up another passenger. The thief led cops on a wild chase with the van's side door still open. He finally stopped in an alley and was arrested. The elderly man was not hurt. News is brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorney. Compton has shut down 9 pot dispensaries in the last 6 months and sued 30 operators, property owners, and lenders. Councilman Andre Spicer says the city has struggled with up to 80 illegal dispensaries.
It's not just marijuana in these dispensaries, there's other drugs, as well as these businesses are affecting violence, murders, robberies, fights, and they're just a nuclear neighborhood.
One dispensary faces a record $22 million in penalties. The city says the illegal dispensary task force will continue until all illegal operations are shut down. Voters rejected pot dispensaries in 2018. More than $46 million in mid-cycle budget adjustments have unanimously been approved by the Riverside City Council. A report shows the city's general fund revenue exceeded estimates by $14.4 million in the second quarter, and that's largely because of higher tax collections. The approved funds will go towards street projects, buying new garbage trucks, animal control, and other city citizens. Actor Alec Baldwin, in connection with the fatal shooting on a movie set. The charges were dropped yesterday. The same-day filming for the movie started in Montana. Baldwin has been charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for fatally shooting the movie cinematographer.
The way that prosecutors dismiss the charges allows them to bring them back in the course of doing additional investigation.
You're absolutely right. You got that right. I do have some new speakers that have joined us. Betty Smith, can you hear us?
When the gun fired, safety protocols have since been implemented on the set, including the absence of any live guns. A survey of 6,000 movie fans shows those fans have a plan for this summer. 86% plan to see more movies on big screens this summer compared to last year. 81% plan to go to 3 or more movies.
mainstream movie-going trends and insight studies.
Well, you're most welcome, Veggie Snake. Where are you from in the world?
Follow the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. TC The Flash,
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm in California, my man. How are things in Israel?
Haunted Mansion, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
Absolutely. Wow, we have quite a diverse group here. This is wonderful. Again, as Ernie said, feel free to come up and discuss anything that you would like. If you have an NFT project perhaps you want to discuss, you're more than welcome to discuss it. If you want to come up and sing karaoke because you have a song that you want to sing, or you have an NFT audio that you want to play for us, feel free to do so as well. We're very open-minded here. Some of the previous topics that we've covered that we're definitely open to cover again. Transhumanism, we talked about DMT, we talked about AI and artificial superintelligence. I want you to know that I have access to ChatGPT. If you'd like me to Google or I guess ChatGPT something, if you want me to look something up in it or ask it a question, we're more than willing to do that. We are an open book here. If you have any questions for me, I can do and ask me anything. Feel free to ask me anything that you like. I'm the Guinness World Record holder for live streaming. I've been doing it for 2 years. It's all live on YouTube. You can watch this live on 6 different screens if you would like. It's a very interesting project, and we're just trying to get people on board for world peace. We are against war. We don't feel that you have any more permission to put your hands on me than I do on you, and we just treat each other with mutual respect, and hopefully we'll be able to have some good development. I know that we've got Freaky in here. Freaky, can you hear me? Shalom, my brother. Absolutely, go ahead.
The Hollywood Freeway, number 101, though. Pretty good drop after the 4 level. Now, we had two major problems working this point. First, if you're going through the East LA interstate, and you're going to go south 5 down towards 710. Still real slow, but all lanes have been reopened. There was a problem after 710, and it's all about, not to worry. And we're out at a zoo shop now. And another big problem, once you can at a zoo shop, all lanes have been reopened there. Now, if you're coming through that interstate, like 57, 210, yes, slow, but stick with the freeway. But don't go to the West End because everybody went over there earlier. It was quite a
You're absolutely right. Fruity, with your NFT project, I really like your art. So if you have a chance to take a look at his banner, he's got a skull, a pharaoh, and like a cowboy. Freaking, are you into any other NFTs or just that NFT?
Great partners make each other better. They show us what's possible beyond ourselves. At Head Medicine USC, being partners is more than just a goal. It's who we are. We are committed to offering you the personalized healthcare you need. With deep expertise and dedication, we'll work with you to reach your potential. Because the next great partnership is you and tech. Together, we are limitless. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blinds.com. Want to say big on custom forward blinds?
Excellent. Do you ever use ChatGPT in your day-to-day life?
50% over comparable blinds from brick-and-mortar stores. Get custom blinds at low prices and free shipping at Blinds.com.
You've been dreaming about it, sliding behind the wheel, firing up that engine, and taking off. But for too long, the dream is all it was. Because car lots everywhere have been virtually empty until now. At Roto.com, the car shortage is finally over. Shop an incredible selection of cars available right now. No waiting for inventory. No settling for less than what you want. Ready to hit the road? Get the car you want at a great price today. Start saving now by downloading the Roto app or check out
I'm in agreement. So a discussion that we're having just a few moments ago with Wellington, essentially we're at a certain impasse where we may have society that just uses ChatGPT as a tool and AI as a tool, and it'll just be like any other tool, or perhaps it may be able to essentially develop to a point where it's artificial superintelligence. Preeti, do you have any thoughts on that? Are you afraid of a Skynet-like future or any other kind of dystopian future? What do you think the world will look like?
Jacoby Myers is here to take the weight off your shoulders. We specialize in these complex cases and will work tirelessly to get the compensation you deserve. Call us now and let us do the heavy lifting for you. Jacoby and Myers, justice for you. 1972. With car prices at an all-time high, our donors are now getting highest receipts ever. Donate at carsforkids.org, and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Want to talk about it with others. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and if we can talk about it, we can heal it. The Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health cares about your well-being. Come together with your community for events all over the county. Meet others who are going through the same thing. Find resources and enjoy a day taking action for mental health. Events go through May and June. Go to takeactionlac.com to find one near you. More stimulating thoughts. Stay by AM 640. Live on the iHeartRadio app, Bill Handle here. Friday, April 21. The continuing with Handle on with Jennifer Wayne.
Anytime the word squirm is in a headline, I like it. U.S. House Republicans squirm over Speaker McCarthy's debt ceiling proposal. He's facing a big test in his speakership, and he's come up with this $1.5 trillion increase in the nation's debt ceiling. Now, when it comes to this, though, he says, okay, I'm willing to let it go up 1.5 trillion, but then this means in the future we're capping it at 1%. And not all Republicans like this. They don't like the fact that he's saying, yes, sir, let it go up 1.5 trillion.
Yeah, but it's also predicated on the most conservative members of the House. Well, first of all, he wants some substantial cuts connected with that. And that's never happened. By the way, it's always been clean. Okay, we have to raise the debt limit. And the reason he's in trouble is there's members of Congress that want far more cuts. And so that goes to show you how little power he actually has. And if he doesn't get his side, and if he doesn't get this proof, and if he doesn't get this, it's going to show he's basically emasculated.
Beautiful point there. I see we have some new speakers who've joined us. Kuya, how are you?
Meanwhile, while this is going on, something that's vitally important to the country, that if we default, is bad news all around. While that's going on,
Kuya, I see that you're an artist. Do you have any projects about which you'd like to tell the room?
Transgender sports ban. So that's more important, and it is called the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. That's something for
it's an open mic. You can talk about whatever you'd like.
Which covers sports in schools, any school getting federal funding. So this is elementary all the way, I assume, through universities. You will not be allowed to let trans women or girls participate in women's or girls' sports. The only people that would be allowed to participate are people whose sex is female and sex is based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetic at birth. Now, I want to say something here, because even people who are very strong LGBTQ rights people, which I am, this causes me to think, and it's a physiological question. Someone who is transitioned from male to female, right? And even to the point to get body parts removed. Some don't, by the way. Some don't. There's a friend of my daughter's who, in fact, is trans. Didn't have.
Please do. You absolutely can. You can also send it to the jumbo sound on top if you
there, and they just got coming. So here's my question. Let's say even with your body parts removed, physiologically, you do hormones, but I'm talking about the skeletal makeup. That doesn't change. And is that stronger when you were a male and you carry that with you? I mean, how is there a true advantage physically? It depends. Hormone treatment and those things will, let's say, undo the male advantage when it comes to building muscle mass, right? And recruit, I don't want to get too into the science of it, men can recruit more neurons, so they live to it. So it depends on the specific human being, whether at that time they possess any of the athletic advantages by virtue of the differences between the sexes. Yeah, because you can't really tell the kids would take by taste, because that's like you said, untenable. I mean, there's no way to do that. So there has to be a general concept, either a yes or a no. And they're going for it. Still, can you remind me, which of the two major parties, which is the one that talks about they don't like big government and they like more local control?
Yeah, feel free to keep telling us about your project.
Is it the Democrats or is it the other Republicans? Well, yes, there's smaller central government and more local control, except when it comes to the bedroom and sex. Government stays out of your life, but it stays in your bedroom. Well, and that's the Republicans, by the way.
I think we can take this song, It's a Small World, and say it's a world of computer classes and upset, yes. When it comes to a massive computer crash that brought down Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, you know, you're trying to go through the turnstiles to just get in to the park. That's where the outage happened. It was right at the ticketing system. It took about a half an hour for Disneyland cast members to, I guess, address the impacts with the guests. They were having to figure out on a case-by-case basis how to get them in, but most people just couldn't get in.
Yeah, for half an hour.
But still, here's the thing. If I was somebody who's just paid $150 a head, and that's probably being
I get it.
for my family of 10 or 6 or whatever to get in, and you're telling me that you just took off 30 minutes because your guys' computer system crashed, I would be pissed. I would see that as dollar signs.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be, but that's me. We're doing a lot of Disney today, incidentally. Because it's DeSantis and the fight with Disney in Florida, and then just some fun Disney history and a real personal story on the show. We'll be back. Let's check in with Jennifer live in the KFI 24-hour news.
A man who allegedly tossed a caged puppy over a fence into the Conga Wasp has been arrested booked on suspicion of animal cruelty. The 2-month-old puppy was hurt in the fall, but is expected to be okay. California is demanding a recall of Hyundai and Kia vehicles. The AG says they're not safe. And the CEO of
Most certainly. Shout out to you. Shout out to Iran. Shout out to your art. I see that we have some other speakers that have come out. Koa, would you like to speak? And also perhaps Chase, please go ahead.
All data in the U.S. on American soil. We're going to look at your dive and recap the 210 in just a moment.
Unfiltered, chlorinated tap water just doesn't cut it. I mean, it's sort of big.
Absolutely, Chase. Feel free anytime when you want to come up and speak. We'll make sure to get you the mic, but feel free to be a listener for as long as you like. We're very happy that you're here. Koa, how are you doing today?
Filtered out chlorine, contaminants, while retaining healthy minerals, which also taste great. And a life source system.
Perhaps Koa might have made the same mistake or did the same thing. If you aren't aware, feel free to come up and discuss with us anything that you would like. We like to talk about anything that you like to talk about. If you have art that you'd like to promote, we'd love to talk about it. We'd love to give you some positive vibes, positive feedback on it. If you want to talk about really nothing is taboo. You want to talk about a relationship, you want to talk about how you succeed on education. We've had people who talk about that. If you'd like to talk about futurology or AI or ChatGPT or artificial superintelligence or any kind of, if you want to vent, absolutely. Some things about which I like to talk are futurology. I don't know if anybody has seen the television show Black Mirror, but there are some aspects of that television show. It was a show on Netflix that had some really interesting pieces of technology. And in the meantime, while we have some folks who perhaps might want to come up and talk, there are some pieces of technology about which I'll read that I just want to plant the seeds in some people's heads that these might be things in the future. One of them is called the hot shot, a drug that allows the user to temporarily increase their intelligence and perception to superhuman levels. So that might be something in the future. There's like a pill or perhaps some kind of drug that will allow you to temporarily increase your intelligence to superhuman levels. It's very interesting thing. We talked about this a little bit as well last night, and if you're not aware, we've been doing this for like 10 hours now, and we're trying to do it all day and each night. I mean, we usually do it at night, but I decided, well, we got a good thing going. Let's try to get more people and why not? Another thing that we talked about is the dating app. So there's a dating app that uses personal data and social media activities to create an accurate love algorithm. That's a definitely something we may see in the future. Another thing we may see in the future is mind reading technology. A technology that allows people to read each other's thoughts through a neural implant. We talked about this a little bit last night, but feel free to talk about it if you can have an opportunity with neural. And that type of brain, absolutely, I love it. Go ahead.
Overhead is low in the wholesale district, so we pass even more savings directly to you. Come down to our wholesale district leasing finance offers through Mini FX. Call 800-800-NICK or AlexanderMini.com. And remember, Nick can't say no. Baseball is back with new rules. My one rule is opening up the sideline sports bar with a brew in my crew. Now just cut reasons to Mr. Bonita.
It's time for baseball. It's time for you to belly up at Sideline Sports Bar too.
Number 2.
ROTHSCHILD, live May 26th.
And the number 1 reason.
Get a hydration backpack and a chance to upgrade to a jelly when you earn 500 points on your rewards card, the 24th or 26th.
Go on, go. Good time. You locked your cat up the tree?
Yeah, he's right up there and scared to come down.
Hang on, I'll get him for you.
Be careful, mister.
Thank you. Here you go.
Where did you come from? And where is he now? In case.
What? Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to clean out your shower drain.
What?
They were up a tree too.
Really?
Your drain was really clogged, backing up, and we have to stop that nasty stuff from invading your bathroom.
So you're a hero?
Try to be every day. We're rooter heroes.
Wow.
We make sure you live in a safe, clean house. Go on.
Thanks for us being yours.
Support Hero Dogs.
If you know how to clog things, call Zero Zero coming in air. Go online at ZeroZero.com. Lots of things can help decrease stress hormones and prevent health problems, like healthy nutrition, regular exercise, restful sleep, practicing mindfulness, having social support, and getting mental health care. This Cal Helpful Moment is brought to you by CalHealth.org. Life is uncertain, but okay if you're stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHealth can help. Access CalHealth's free and secure mental health service. Call 833-317-4676 or live chat at CalHealth.org. At Ralph, shopping with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in store. Same low prices, deals, and rewards on the same high-quality items. One small trip for groceries, one big win for busy families everywhere. Start your cart today at Ralph.com. Ralph, fresh for everyone. It's a single price designed for people.
Earn extra fuel points and save even more at the pump. You can earn 4 times the fuel points on your grocery purchase this Friday with your digital coupon. Download your coupon on our website. There you go, mimosa for fun on the menu at IHOP. Oh yeah. You a mimosa girl?
Bottom of the mimosa right. It's favorite.
Oh, yeah. It's usually 4 for 4 with Nino Cavegra. 2 on 5 a.m. Sports.
City Lady Talk.
Sport Room. Beautiful Friday morning. April 21, weather is actually gorgeous. Flowers are there, and everybody is happy except me. And you're dancing in the flowers, and skipping, and just having a roaring good time. I hate it. Okay, guys, let's continue on for Wayne B. When does success look like failure? When a rocket blows up in the air. Yeah, when you have one butt. No, you said you were going to take them. Yeah, we were watching this. We were like, I was doing when it was the rocket takes off like Starship, biggest rocket in the world, and as it flies up there, it starts going poorly. We can see it go, it's shaking and moving up and down and doing whatever else it does, and then it explodes. And we're watching this, we go, it's exploding. No one is upset. Everybody's shouting, what's wrong with this picture? Well, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that picture. Because, and I will defer to Margaret Whiteman, because she's the chair of the Space History Department at the National Air and Space Museum, and she pointed out something that will make sense when I say it. You don't have to be a high-ranking academic. When you are breaking boundaries, when you are treading new ground, you learn a lot from the failure. You do. And it's something like this, one thing that I didn't think about.
Definitely a legitimate point. Definitely very legitimate point. Additionally, I think one thing perhaps why people aren't more excited about that, I feel it should be, and I feel these space launches should be really exciting and really capture the interest of the world. I believe it's perhaps within 4 minutes or something like that. Please, you had your hand raised. No, you're absolutely fine. Please, you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
That hadn't ever happened before. They had never launched it before. They launched it. That's an accomplishment. And if you're doing routine things and you have a big screw up, like if the guy at McDonald's is making your hamburger and somehow he burns it to death,
please do, absolutely. Please do, absolutely.
Trying to invent a brand new type of hamburger that never existed before and he burns one, it's not necessarily a failure. I think it's a timeline.
Neither of us are veggie pencils in Israel. I'm in California.
On the rocket, because if it blows up then you've got pieces of rocket and pieces of people coming down. And it is, you do not want to go there. Well, that's why you kind of want one to blow up, yes, without earlier state. Well, that's a problem that's gone. In any case, with the original Falcon, I think it was 3 or 4 before they actually got it working correctly. And it is now I guess the most efficient and one of the safest rockets that is being used around the world. So, all right. Huge success as it blew up. Okay.
We've been watching what's going on in Sudan, and officials say more than 600 people have been killed since the fighting started last week between Sudan's army and the paramilitary group. So the Pentagon is moving in additional...
Oh, you're a wonderful person, Christy. Thank you so much.
To prepare for the possible evacuation of the U.S. Embassy in Sudan. So we're just sort of ready for it. This was the State Department deputy spokesman yesterday, Advanced Patel. He says the U.S. is in communication with all of the U.S. citizens who are in Sudan.
We are offering assessments about security measures and other precautions. We are in touch with our personnel. We are in touch with Ambassador Godfrey. We continue to have full accountability to our team.
But he says they're telling all Americans stay indoors and off the road.
How about just get out of there now? Because you can always go back. Very dangerous at this point. I mean, they can't even get out. And you can watch this ABC News, David Muir, not the war. And you have villages that are surrounded by water. They're flooded out. There's no land anymore to plant. And millions of people are going to starve to death. Now we put the war in, you can't get aid in there. There's one road, and they're being stopped because of the war going on in South Sudan. I mean, it's brutal. It is brutal. A lot of people are going to starve. Wayne, you want to pick up the next one? Yeah, hold on.
Absolutely. If we can grant you that wish someday, we'll most certainly do so. Some points that Ernie was bringing up regarding Neuralink, I think, and some of the potential opportunities that we have are definitely interesting. I have ChatGPT about it, of what ChatGPT knew about it, and here are some of the answers that I would provide. It says, Neuralink may eventually become a ubiquitous technology that is as common as smartphones. So that means that will be basically everyone. Neuralink could be used to help individuals with disabilities, such as paralysis, to control their prosthetic devices, which is definitely something about which we need to discuss. It is possible that Neuralink could lead to a new era of brain-computer interfaces, where humans can control computers and machines with their thoughts. It's quite an interesting idea. Essentially, that's telepathy. Something else that Ernie raised, which is a very interesting point, and definitely we'll dive into in a few moments, is the idea of being able to perhaps have languages downloaded to your brain, or perhaps books, or entire encyclopedias, which would be very interesting. Another thing that ChatGPT does is Neuralink has the potential to revolutionize the field of neuroscience by providing researchers with new tools for studying the brain. Another thing that ChatGPT discusses regarding Neuralink is that Neuralink could be potentially used for military or intelligence applications, such as enhancing the cognitive abilities of soldiers. Another aspect there are concerns about privacy and security implications of Neuralink technology, as it involves accessing and potentially altering an individual's brain activity. And we'll talk about that, but that's an interesting one as well. Basically, we can even just take a moment to delve into that. If you had the ability to know everything on Earth, basically all the information, but that also meant that potentially this type of technology could alter your current brain activity. Would you want to do that? We're going to open that question up to the group.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Basic Myth. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The arson case against the man accused of starting a brush fire at a homeless camp in Eagle Rock has been dismissed. KFI's Blake Trolley reports live the LA County DA's office opposed the decision. Prosecutors have said the man poses an unreasonable risk of danger to the public. The judge overseeing the man's case ruled last year he could resolve it by entering and completing mental health treatment. That treatment has been completed and the man's case has been dropped. He was accused of throwing a firework out a car window, which exploded at a large homeless camp. 3 people, including a firefighter, were injured in the fire in 2019. The fire threatened around 100 homes and burned about 45 acres before firefighters put it out over a couple of days. The man's attorney argued the man's ADHD made it hard for him to control his impulses and that he was playing around when he threw the fireworks. Reporting live in Eagle Rock, Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Police are looking for a trio of drivers who killed 3 people in a hit-and-run crash within 4 hours in South LA. LAPD officer Gerald Chavarria says that one man ended up a block away from where he was hit.
There's no excuse for this. This driver knew they hit a human being, failed to render aid, and comply with the law.
On that. We can absolutely continue this conversation as well, and we will. I do see that we have some other friends who've joined us. David, feel free to speak if you'd like. We'd love to hear from you. David, can you
LA
hear us?
County Public Health has identified the first local cases of a new COVID-19 strain called ROTHSCHILD. The strain represented just over 1% of the cases in recent sequencing. Now, the current dominant strain in the country
you make some really great points, Amy. Some other things that we may see with Neuralink, it may face regulatory hurdles as it gains approval for human use, particularly if it involves invasive procedures. You raised an issue. I'm kind of you. I don't want this, frankly. I'd like to go about it the old-fashioned way, so to speak, but I don't mind studying all that much, and I try to think of some of the advances that we currently have with the ability to, like, use AI to provide summaries and things for, like, really intricate journals. I feel as if, those are some things that I'd want to experiment with first before hooking myself up to some kind of machine or having some kind of neural network affecting my brain. And additionally, I'm not too keen on something that I can't control affecting my brain. I see also we have John Doe who has come up as a speaker. John Doe, do you have any thoughts on it?
The LA County Sanitation District says the maintenance equipment malfunctioned yesterday and caused a temporary blockage in the sewer, which caused the sewage to overflow into the Treatment County. All open coastal swimming areas in Long Beach have been temporarily closed. Officials say $5 million from the California Department of Water Resources will go to construction and maintenance of a conduit from an existing water well to an existing desal plant in Torrance. Officials say the project will provide water for 2,200 households, reduce the city's reliance on imported water, and help create a surplus of drinking water.
President Biden is expected to announce he's running for re-election in 2024. The announcement could come as early as next week. Only about half of Democrats say they think Biden should run again. My co-founder, Mike Lindell, has been ordered to pay up on a contest. He claimed there are data showing China interfered with the 2020 presidential election, and the contest was to prove him wrong. Arbitrators say a guy in Nevada did
It sounds like you've got a lot of experience with AI. If you've been involved with it for a dozen or so years. May I ask what field you're in?
Shot by officers during a protest in Atlanta had at least 57 gunshot wounds. An autopsy found the man had gunshot injuries to his entire body, including known as top cities. A Georgia State trooper was also shot. Police alleged the man was killed, was armed, and also had shot the trooper. We'll get a look at your drive with BKFI in the sky. We've got problems on the 91605, but first it's Sports with Wayne.
The Clippers, without Paul George and without Kawhi Leonard, lost to the Phoenix Suns 129 to 124. They trailed that playoff series 2-1. James Outland put the Dodgers ahead of the Cubs with a home run, and then he came back later to make sure that earlier effort wasn't wasted. Fly ball right field. The Grizzlies going back, way back, and it's gone! James Outland with a grand slam home run. Final score, LA 6, Chicago 2. Game 2 today at 11:20. It'll be Louis on the mound. Listen in HD live from the Delta Motors podcast booth on the iHeartRadio app. The Angels lost to the Yankees 9-3. Now they're home to host the AC Royals with Shohei Ohtani starting. And the LA Kings come home for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoff series against the Edmonton Oilers. That match starts at 7 live in HD on the iHeartRadio app Teams channel. I'm Wayne Lesnick, KFI Sports.
The KFI Financial Update is sponsored by Jacoby and Myers. Right now, the Dow is down 64. S&P is down, and unleaded gas in California is $4.90. Don't wait. Maximize your compensation after an accident. Call Jacoby and Myers now. Texas streaming since 1972. Check out weather from KFI. Wow, what a gorgeous sunny day we've got ahead. Temperatures will be in the 80s to near 90. Stay that way for tomorrow. Then it looks like our highs will drop into the 70s and 80s for your Sunday. A little bit cooler into the 60s and 70s again by next week. Right now it is 52 in Dana Point, 60 in Brea, 58 in Santa Monica, 56 in Pasadena. Let's get a look at your drive.
Down there, didn't get that there, I'll explain. But this is the westbound 91 transition to the south of 605. It was blocked when it was down there. It was a driver and car went down the left embankment. Now it's one CHP officer trying to do everything by his or herself, shut down the ramp and help and so on and so forth. So we're going to go back there in a few minutes. I'm sure it got more complicated. Again, West 91 transition, South 605 we shut down. You could go to the north, but again, we'll go back there and check it out. So be careful with the busy spot. Now, as I said to you, we're back over to 210. We were a little concerned. There was quite a problem earlier. West 210 at Azusa. But that is cleared, but then it got all backed up again. I think we're over the 210 right now, flying west, approaching Santa Monica. So I can vouch for all lanes are open there, 57, 605, and through this point. But looks like it's going to be slow in the Pasadena once you get past the 605. So good news there. Most of our other freeways are in pretty good shape. Again, we're going to head back to the 91 605. Well, that one coming up. Jeff Bomb, AFI in the sky.
This hour of the Bill Handle Show brought to you by Jacoby and Myers. If you get hurt in an accident, choose the law firm with the experience to win. Choose Jacoby and Myers.
Your new Toyota Camry is here. Your new RAV4. Your new Tacoma. The Toyota that you've been looking for is at your Toyota dealer now. Take home a bold new Camry and explore the city and style. Or get out of the city in a dynamic new RAV4. For more epic adventures, see where a tough new Tacoma can take you. For great deals on the new Toyota, see your dealer today or visit Toyota.com. We make it easy.
Toyota.com is Toyota Central for all things Toyota. At Toyota.com, you can even check out all the latest available offers. So go do a great deal on a stylish new Toyota car, love truck, or versatile SUV. That's at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. More stimulating talk. Bill Handle. Here's Bill Handle. And this is KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Luckily, Friday morning, April 21, the weather's going to be spectacular. This is why people move to Southern California. The weather, the traffic, the smog, they just love it. Housing prices so reasonable. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to move down here, for sure. Now, yesterday, it was not big news. Actually, for a lot of us, it was expected news, or no surprise news, and that is prosecutors in New Mexico have decided to drop all charges against Alec Baldwin. And the question is, and Wayne and I have talked about this for months. I mean, from the day the shooting on the ROTHSCHILD actually occurred, and that is the question of where's the criminality for Alec Baldwin? How it is not just seemed an accident, and the authorities say, okay, it's an accident. That's it. So Wayne, let's get into it. And you've looked at cases before, many of them criminal cases. Is it fair to say this has been so screwed up that it's surprising? It was surprising that they brought these charges in this case, because under New Mexico law, you have to have two things. One, everybody agrees that somebody was killed. No evidentiary problem there, unfortunately. But then you have to show that the person was either committing a crime, another separate crime. Well, nobody thinks that was going on. Was acting recklessly, which is where the prosecutor was going to try to hang their hat, or was doing something else that's dangerous that some people might be allowed to do, but you're not allowed to do it. Like you're breaking the law. Like let's say you're driving a tractor and you're not licensed to, and you run over somebody. Possibly you could be on the hook, but a person who's licensed and is allowed to drive that tractor, even though it's just as dangerous, they're not eligible. So it boils down to this. What's the thing that Alec Baldwin did that was reckless? He was given a gun and told it was fine. He was rehearsing the scene, doing the movements that were part of the scene. From his perspective, what was reckless? And actually nothing, because when you think about it, the prosecutor said that Alec Baldwin somehow should have known that that gun had a live round in it, even though actors rely on armors, which are part of have a gun that can shoot bullets that have to be an armor to as a safety issue, and it was the old cold gun, which means there are no live rounds in it, and he relied on that, like relying on any other professional in there, relying on the lighting guys so the lights don't fall on someone. Okay, I was told that the lights work, that they're well secured. Your fault that they didn't, Alex. So they may have felt sick. You know, there were a lot of problems on the set. There have been accidents like this before. In fact, they at least pay a pretty substantial fine to the security violation. I suppose the argument would be, normally you rely on what the person's looking, but this set was so chaotic, it was reckless of you to believe that other guy. But in terms of a criminal prosecution, that's a hell of a stretch. Yeah, that's what just came in yesterday, which was the straw on the camel in the barrel, full of monkeys riding the camel. I'm sorry? Yeah, I was talking to the 16 conversation. Oh, I appreciate that. And that had to do with Baldwin saying, I never pulled the trigger, and FBI and others say, well, you sort of had to pull the trigger for this thing to fire. Now we find out the gun was modified. How do we find that out a year and a half ago? I don't know, because somebody who knew finally came forward. And the fact of the matter is that the trigger, it was modified with a new trigger, and it's a replica gun. And this is like behind the scenes for people who aren't identifying themselves, but they're being cited as credible sources, that in fact it was possible, and the way it would happen is you pull the hammer back, and you let it go, and normally it's supposed to stay there until you pull the trigger, and something was happened where he did, because he said he did pull the hammer back. So that would be the theory of at least one plausible explanation, and if there's a plausible explanation where he wasn't reckless and didn't pull the trigger, of course, you have to okay. Also, from the beginning, the day of the shooting, they didn't separate out everybody who was there, which is police procedure. They didn't investigate and examine the set, if you will, to see if there was anything going on. I mean, it was so bought that finally, and then there were politics involved, and finally, the special prosecutor number 3 that came in looked at this and said, no, we're done. So, thank you, case is dropped. So, anyway, it made a lot of sense, and they finally got to where we thought they should have gone from the day this happened. Okay, coming up, Ron DeSantis and how Disney is in the middle, and I mean right there in the middle of his fight for the presidential nomination. This is KFI, and let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee.
A new poll gives former President Trump a 13-point lead over likely Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis. An employee at the Austin Bergstrom International Airport died on the tarmac. It was an American Airlines employee who they say suffered traumatic injuries when he crashed a ground service vehicle into a jet bridge. And a new report from the CDC has found roughly 1 in 3 U.S. households use the free at-home COVID tests that were offered by the Biden administration. Let's get a look at your drive at BKFI in the sky in the 15.
You bet your boy, just in case you was making an early getaway from Vegas, this is a big mountain to listen up going north through the Cajon Pass. North 15 at the 138. Sadly, it's a fatal crash investigation. Now, what that should mean to you is it's going to last for quite some time. So the North 15 now is really jammed. Well, it's almost back to the 15 to 15 merge. So it's getting serious. But it's North 15, Pistol the past 138. North of that, of course, things are good. Now, we're headed back to Cerritos. There was quite a problem I want to check for you. It was West 91 to the South 605. It was shut down. More on that coming up in just here. Don't go away. Jeff Bond, hey, have fire in the sky. You probably already know Rosetta Stone is one of the best ways to learn a language. But did you also know that they offer a lifetime subscription to all 25 of their languages? Dabble in French. Try your hand at German. Learn a bit of Japanese. Or even explore Swedish. And right now, you can get 40% off Rosetta Stone's just once and learn for life. Rosetta Stone, how language is learned.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to get stressed and worried or frustrated. Here are mental health resources. It's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need. What you need the most. Call our one line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at southhope.org.
Absolutely. I know Doug had his hand up, but their hand up. Doug, would you like to go ahead?
Still don't have a car? I've been waiting forever for the prices to drop. The wait's over at roto.com. No way. It's real. At Roto, they have a ton of
No, it's not all. Welcome, Doug.
Show me that ride. I'll call you back. And the newer pre-owned car of your dreams at any time on any device in just a few clicks. And at a great price by downloading the Roto app or check out roto.com.
They follow that with new rules. My one rule is holding up the sideline sports bar with a brewer in my brewery. Now get top reasons to visit the leader.
It's time for baseball. It's time for you to rally up at Sideline Sports Bar 2.
Number 2.
ROTHSCHILD Drive May 26th.
And the number 1 reason.
Get a hydration backpack and a chance to upgrade to a grade. You earn 500 points
I think perhaps that he may have positive ulterior motives. It seems like from what I know about him from that interview, a generally good person who wants the best for humanity, but also knows how AI and perhaps technology like Neuralink could be used in a nefarious manner. I think that it's great that he does want to help people with disabilities and people like them amputees and people who are paralyzed in order to help them first and foremost, and I think that's a great thing. I don't necessarily think he personally has nefarious plans for it, but I could definitely see some group, a hedge fund, some kind of backdoor deals that perhaps may have some nefarious thoughts on the matter, and I'd like the room, I'd love their opinion on it as well.
National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 22nd. Find a collective site near you at dvatakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it's time. Did it do an RV? Massive overstock sale. Everything must go. Manufacturers on site to approve your best use. Did it do an RV? DVRV.com with a 405 use for 22 with sale. Coming up this week on Unsolved, we highlight another cold case or challenging case that needs just that one little piece of evidence or witness to step up. It's the only show in Southern California that gives investigators a chance to go deep on it. They stay with you, the ones that are unsolved. They stay with you. Unsolved with Steve Gregory tomorrow night at 7 on JFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. I AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Handle here Friday morning, April 21. Some of the big stories that are trending actually and covering the SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States. They're going to decide today on the abortion pill, and are they going to take back the FDA's ability to clear it? Not very farm reinstates the policy, chaperone anyone under 15. And here's something I didn't even know, that LA is recognizing Griffith Park Travel Town, okay, that's been there a million years, is the site of World War II internment. No idea. I'll probably be doing that in the next few days. And before we get to the DeSantis and Disney story, here's your chance to win some money. Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Win. That's win, W-I-N. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/app. Powered by Food Games Accident Attorney. It doesn't an accident. Winning is everything. Call the winning attorneys at Food Games. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-9-MILLION. Or foodgames.com. And if you do win, you got to enter the keyword online at the website KFIAM640.com/chat. Winners are notified by email. Check your email. Also, maybe your spam and or junk folder. See if you've won. We do this every other hour, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. A little bit of politics and business. And we're going to talk more about Disney, some fun stuff about Disney the next second. But this is about Florida Governor Ron DeSantis running for the Republican nomination for president. And he is, I'm not even argue front runner, but he's the only one that really has a shot against Trump right now. And very, very conservative. I don't even know if he is as conservative as that the way he's coming off, because kowtowing to the base, and I do use the word kowtow. The base, quote, the MAGA base is so strong that Republicans are standing in line to kick their butt. And one of them, and maybe, I don't know what his true motivations are, but I'll tell you one thing, he and Disney are getting to fight. This has to do with the Don't Say Gay bill that was passed, and he talks about gender and gender equality when first, second, or third grade. That's just something off the table in terms of public school. Then that was extended to high school. Right? We don't talk about LGBTQ rights. We just don't mention any of that. Transing, transitioning, nothing. Well, that's the Don't Say Gay bill. So what ends up happening? Disney, Disney World, is very pro-LGBTQ rights. In fact, has been from the first time that the movement came into being. They were not the first corporation to get on board. So the fight between DeSantis and what appears to be a very liberal Disney in that way it is. So what does DeSantis do? They're fighting him. He has to come back and fight them because of the basic philosophy of, well, we're not crazy about LGBTQ rights. We're fine with people that are queer. The only thing is we don't want them to shove their queerness down our throats. They're telling us the way we live. So it's just, well, I have obviously a real problem with, and I truly don't understand the anti-LGBTQ movement. I don't. Yeah, that's the legitimate looking at.
Sandro, I have a question for you.
That view. I don't understand LGBTQ.
I don't know if you're familiar, but I have a project where I've been streaming my life on YouTube for 656 days, basically 2 years, and I've created the largest amount of data of one person in the history of mankind. This is all stored on YouTube. It's additionally on Instagram, so I'm live on 6 different YouTubes right now, 7 different Instagrams, 2 different Discords, Twitter Spaces, and Twitter videos. What kind of potential uses in the future do you think that AI might be able to do with this type of human data?
So I don't buy any of that. So now you have that situation of Disney and DeSantis. Disney also evoked woke. The entire woke philosophy, looking at the world in this, we have to look at it with race, and the Republicans, the very fundamentalist Republicans, look at that concept as somehow anathema and contrary to American values. And so you have a very liberal corporation that's viewed as a democratic and left-wing corporation. Usually corporations stay out of politics, but Disney went into it, and there were some issues about not, and then turning around and saying yes. And DeSantis is using Disney as the poster child for his views. So what he did is that Reedy Creek Development District, which was the district that Disney started to build Disney World, it bought up, 50,000 acres, and then created their own government, their own building and safety department. As the infrastructure, they built it all, their own fire department, their own police. And so for DeSantis, in getting back to Disney, what he did is he dissolved Reedy Creek, putting his own people in the new district, and now there's a huge fight because the old board, Disney people, voted themselves basically unlimited power. And DeSantis is going crazy because the state legislature undid it. Now you have what Disney folks did in terms of Reedy Creek development. There's a huge fight between the legislature and a contract. And so it all ends up with DeSantis running for president, and Disney is the poster child of this. Do I really think that he is Disney? Well, I guess to some extent because they're fighting him, but again, I'm convinced it's all part of it. And he is guessing. Because there are people that are not very happy. Even Republicans are not very happy. Because they have bigger fish to fry than fighting Disney. And Disney is beloved down there. They're the biggest employer in all of Florida.
Thank you so much.
Without going too
much into your background, how do you get on board of an AI company?
Fire departments and the road and the infrastructure. And under the new development corporation or under the new governmental entity that is put in, guess what? Taxpayers end up paying for it. And people are not very happy about that either. It's going to be a hell of a fight. Can't wait for this one. It's going to be a big part of the presidential too. During the debate. Now, we're talking about Disney, and a lot of people are going to Disneyland and Disney World, and if you have an extra $8,000, take your family and enjoy Disney. And I'm going to talk about some Disney, and it is fascinating, and a couple of, one personal story that I want to share with you. The opening, who was involved, the names, what happened, it's all great. We'll do that for a couple of segments, and then later on, we're going to talk to Neil Behavior with Foodie Fridays for some fun Friday. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour news.
A suspected catalytic converter thief has been fatally stabbed in South El Monte. Sheriff's deputies were called to a home on Zions Avenue just before 3 this morning. A man who lives there told them he's been asleep when he heard people outside tampering with his car. He said he went outside to investigate and was confronted by 3 to 4 people. There was a fight and one man was stabbed. 2 to 3 others ran away. Disney reportedly has plans to lay off 4 people.
Disney plans to slash thousands of jobs. Bloomberg is the cuts impact several areas within the entertainment division like TV, film, theme parks, and corporate teams. Those affected will be notified as early as April 24th. Disney has previously announced an effort to slash 7,000 jobs and to eliminate $5.5 billion this March. More cuts expected before the start of the summer. Deborah Mark, KFI News.
News is brought to you by DirectBuyers.com. A man being sentenced to 16 years to life in prison for beating his mom to death with a baseball bat in Anaheim. Jurors deliberated for about 2.5 hours yesterday. The man beat his mom in May of 2017, but she was in a coma for 11 months and didn't die until April 1st, 2018. Stewart Power Authority has fired its CEO following 4 negative audits, claiming a lack of leadership and transparency. OCCA Board Chair Fred Young says dismissing Brian Kowalski is one of several significant changes.
To adhere to all of those recommendations from every audit, from the grand jury report, we've not only implemented 50% of the way through, but we will be 100% complete by the end of summer.
The renewable energy provider started providing power to 4 cities last year. Kowalski was fired Tuesday. His last day is the end of May. Officials in the U.S. say the number of people killed on the roads last year was down slightly. The National Highway Traffic Safety Patrol says 42,795 fatalities were reported last year, down by 0.3% from 2021. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says there's still a national crisis of traffic deaths, and everyone has a role to play in reversing the rise. Tourists every year in Waikiki, Oahu is off limits because of a seal.
Officials have cordoned off a large part of Kaimana Beach where Mom wants to see a Kylie Day first April 14th. She and her pup are expected to hang out on the beach and in the water offshore for about 5 to 7 weeks while the pup nurses. Started 6 years ago, the endangered seals would occasionally put in birth on the beach. Last summer, a protected mother seal injured a tourist in California who got too close, so this was keeping people away. I've already said the best for swimmers went to one of the many other beaches on Oahu to give Mom and her pup some space. There are fewer than 200 Hawaiian monk seals in the wild, and it's a challenge to disturb them. KFI News.
We'll go back to the 91-605 in just a moment, but first it's Sports with Wayne.
The Clippers are down 2 games to 1 in their playoff series against the Phoenix Suns after yesterday's 129-124 loss.
We did. Very difficult conversation. I believe so. What we're saying, Doug, is that something that you said, someone said in our space maybe like 5 hours ago, but nonetheless very true. Essentially, you could definitely provide for a lot more security for that amount of money.
The Angels closed out their series against the Yankees with a 9-3 loss. Now the Halos are home to host the KC Royals. Will be Shohei Ohtani starting, and the LA Kings come home for Day 3 of the Stanley Cup playoff series against the Edmonton Oilers. That match starts at 7 live in HD on the iHeartRadio app and channel. You're in Leslie, KFI Sports.
The good night's sleep is always in sports. Because now it's all stressed out there. I don't get a good night's sleep, boy, everybody knows it around here. So let me suggest contacting you a little bit at sleep. Sleep number 360 Smart Bed offers proven quality sleep. You customize just each side of the bed to your ideal firmness, comfort level, like your sleep number might have to be 100. I think say a bunch of a time 200 because I like a very firm mattress. And through April 24, you can save $600 on Sleep Number's most popular 360 Smart Bed, and they're offering special financing. Subject to credit approval, go to sleepnumber.com for details. There are 30 stores where you can get these beds, including Brea, Long Beach, Mission Viejo, Moreno Valley, or you can visit sleepnumber.com. That's sleepnumber.com.
SoCal
weather from KFI. It looks like it's going to be beautiful. Today's highs are going to be in the 80s, near 90s, back down to the 70s and 80s for Sunday, 60s and 70s by Monday. Right now it is 60 degrees in Irvine, 65 already in Rancho Santa Margarita. Let's check out your drive back to the 91605.
Good morning. As always, I promised you right up to the minute intro. You only get right here at KFI. I was about to tell you about a horrible situation in Cerritos. West on one of the South 605, the driver of Wall Street went down the right embankment, blah, blah, blah. It just cleared about a minute and a half ago. So if you're west on 91 now, you were headed to the South 605, you could do it to the north, that kind of busy, but no problem. The main line is fine. Now, not so good at all, really, is the North 15 going through the Carl Pass. If you're just on the ferry or you're trying to get an early getaway to Vegas, investigation, what they should be to you is going to work for a while until the coroner gets up there and they do the investigation. So, it was all lanes were shut down at best. The two right are going to be blocked, and the delays start just a little bit north of the 15-215 Verde. So, serious delays. Once you get past that, you'll be okay. Southbound, be careful. It's kind of lighter than normal traffic, but of course, those could be suspected of coming down the hill. So please do be careful. We're going to head over to LA. We'll take a look at the 105 and some other stuff for you. Don't go away. Jeff Bond, AFI in the sky.
USA Difference #1 in customer satisfaction with retail banking in California by J.D. Power. Since California has come the most award shows, please prepare to thank you speech. The Californians everywhere we've been proud to help you plan budget and save smarter. Our goal tracking and budgeting tools would have no place to shine if it weren't for you, and we can't thank you enough for that. And thank you to our real-life humans who go above and beyond for our customers every day. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/award. Number FDIC.
Tanya, Isabella, Frank. These are the names of everyday Southern Californians doing extraordinary things. Adjusting thermostats, signing up for eco-friendly rebates, using clean electricity in their homes and businesses. All to create a clean energy California. And thanks to programs and rebates from Southern California Edison, we all have the power to ensure clean energy future. Visit SCE.com/clean energy to learn more. Dyers, keep transmission fluid.
Seriously? You're just desperate.
We all know how to get to be for the wrong place for car repair. But we get like this on now. So don't risk it. Take your car to the experts at AMCO. AAMCO. Check engine light on? We'll check it for free. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details.
Today is Mental Health Awareness Month. The Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health is celebrating with community events in May and June. Go to takeactionlac.com to find an event near you and take action for mental health.
Bring in the super prices and a super selection at the Normally Superstore.
Please go ahead if you'd like to say something. Once you have your hand up, please go ahead. Or if you are new to our space, feel free to come on up and talk about whatever you'd like. We don't have to talk about school shootings if you don't want. We don't have to talk about AI if you don't want. We'll talk about anything you want to talk about. Currently, the topic is essentially we moved from AI to a little bit into school shootings. One thing that I did see is that Yokosuka became Japan's first city to use ChatGPT for administrative tasks. That might be something that you might see in your local neighborhood one of these days. If you have feelings on that, please come on up.
And the fight that Disney is having with Governor DeSantis of Florida, and the politics about, are they talking about that? Everybody has so much to do with the presidential nomination coming up, and if you missed it, it's on demand. Matter of fact, all the shows are on demand here on KFI. Just go to the iHeartRadio app and look at the on-demand segment, and you can follow it on the iHeartRadio app. Now, I want to segue into Disneyland and Disney World, the fun part, going there, sort of.
Well, you're more than welcome.
As I said earlier, if you have an extra $89,000 this summer, spend a day at Disney with a family of four, it has gotten insane. So let me go back.
Absolutely. I don't know about anyone else, but I was not an active Twitter user before Elon Musk purchase Twitter, I can honestly tell you that his influence on Twitter and trying to create it, make it into a more free speech place where free speech is promulgated is one of the reasons why I got on here. If you more permanently, I mean, I've been on Twitter, but believe it or not, I would get banned a lot for things that I didn't think were so controversial. And really, it sounds like from the people who are in this room, they're not very controversial. But essentially, sometimes if you would tweet something about, ChatGPT or some other thing, perhaps about AI, you could get banned. It seems as if now it's much freer space. People are able to have discussions if they like. And I really credit to Elon Musk. You're out there in the metaverse somewhere. Thank you for buying Twitter and giving us this opportunity to have free speech. A lot of times you won't find these opportunities, particularly on social media. To me, this is one of the last bastions of free speech that we have in the world. And thank you to the room. Thank you to the listeners that we have here and the speakers. You are all the ones who make this interesting. And thank you for your appreciation for being here. Really, really, I want to thank you. And I really want to thank Ernie. Ernie's come through as our MVP for the day. My man, Bastomatic. He was with us way earlier. We've been at this now we've been at it now 10 hours. And we're going to keep on going until we rug. So if we rug, we rug. We'll be back tonight. We're going to do this show every night until we have world peace. Ernie, where are you from in the world?
Content, and what ABC would do is promote Disneyland. The original show, the Wonderful World of Disney and all that, that was all on ABC.
Absolutely. The only thing that will stop us is if we rug. I have an appointment in about 2 hours, but that won't take too long, I don't think. And it's at my house, so I'll just have to say hey, can somebody watch the host for 10 minutes or so. But aside from that, we're gonna be there. If we do rug, I'll start up another space as soon as possible. But definitely the ones that are overnight are a big one. We get people from all around the world. Let's see here. Just thinking off the top of my head where we've had people outside the United States, and then we've Nigeria. No, you're absolutely fine. Nigeria, Australia, Finland, Israel, Kenya, Iran. You're absolutely right. Siberia.
Oh my God, hippopotamus in the water, bang, bang, bang. So there is a portion of that commercial in which you see a little girl, really small little girl, scared to death, and grabs her older brother's leg. That was Marjorie. And we're still looking for that commercial in the archives. But she was that little girl in the commercial, one of the early commercials of Disney. So, opening days, there's a story there when Disneyland opened up.
I don't know for sure. It was either Nigeria or Kenya, but yes, those are the. And I believe the other person agrees that those are in their country as well. So we.
It was the most complicated live broadcast up to that point that it's ever been.
Absolutely, we want to hear from you. In the meantime, some other things that we were just discussing a little bit were some perhaps new types of technology. Neuralink was one of them. And I was asking Neuralink to check. You can see some questions about Neuralink recently. Some other things that we've learned from ChatGPT, aside from the facing of regulatory hurdles, it's currently in its early stages of development. There may be several years for the technology to be widely available, but that's much quicker than a lot of people I think may think. When ChatGPT is telling us that Neuralink will be as ubiquitous as cell phones perhaps in society, and it's also telling us that yes, it's in the early stages of development, but it'll be several years for the technology to be widely available. Perhaps by the end of the 2020s, by the end of this decade, you may know individuals who have Neuralink, and then you may know individuals who don't have Neuralink. And what will that be? How will that work in schools, where you have one kid who has Neuralink and has access to all the technology and data that they've ever wanted, and then another person who is really struggling for, to write in cursive or doing something like a more traditional thing that you want to have in school, or once had in school. What does that do for students and children? Another thing that Elon Musk has indicated is that Neuralink is a long-term project that he believes will ultimately be as important as his other ventures, such as Tesla and SpaceX. if you're not familiar, Elon Musk recently, as recently as I think last week, there were there's paperwork that has been filed in the state of Florida. Essentially, Twitter is no longer the term Twitter. Yeah, we refer to it as Twitter, but it's actually known as X. Elon Musk owned at first, he started in PayPal and everything, but he owned a domain named X.com, and he sold it. But he's recently repurchased it, but he has repurchased, purchased it, and the thought is that he is going to try to create one large conglomerate. Essentially, you go to X.com, or it would be like the X app, and it would be an all-in-one app. Essentially, so Twitter, I think, may one day be known as X app, or something similar. I could be wrong on that. But some of the things that Elon Musk has said that he envisions, at least even in this year, is encrypted messages like you have in WhatsApp. Additionally, peer-to-peer calling. So essentially, you wouldn't necessarily need a cell phone for many. I mean, it'd be like a WhatsApp. But one thing that makes the United States, you need a telephone number many times to use WhatsApp or, Facebook or something like that, and many times you need a secondary device. In this case, essentially you'd be able to have voice calls with anyone around the world. Those are very interesting opportunities, perhaps, that we may be seeing by the end of this year. With that, does anyone have any information or would like to discuss one?
Answer a few questions online, just under 10 minutes to see if you're qualified for this tax refund. And there's no charge up front. You're not paying a dime. They're not going to get paid until you get paid. And businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP loans, nonprofits, even those that had increased to do sales. They are experts in this little known payroll tax refund program. They've returned $3 billion to businesses. For me, my business, a six-figure refund. So go to getrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button. Getrefunds.com.
SoCal weather from KFI, a sunny day
internet, at least, I believe it's called Starlink.
Near 90. This report is brought to you by personal injury firm Owen Patterson and Owen. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places like the 105.
You like this, we got the LAX now, boy, the route is just slow on the West 105, that's for sure. Starts right around the 710, there's a little bit of a shoulder problem. West 105, just out to 710, so just be careful. But after that, the pace is just going to be slow into the airport with all guns open. The airport itself, LAX, it's one of those times of the week where it's like arrival time from the Far East, and okay, so really fast. And the departure times as well. So just be prepared. Now, it's
a beautiful feature to have. I'm about the all-in-one inclusivity of the app, perhaps, or just a significant opportunity. Yeah, I mean, if you can basically, I think what you're saying would be a thing. If you have Starlink, essentially, if you're not familiar with what this is, it's essentially a type of internet that can put the light that you can have locations, and also an RV version of it. I believe it's called Starlink Mobile or something like that. Starlink Roam, I believe. But essentially, in places where connectivity may be limited, you would be able to reach that or engage internet. Those are definitely some significant opportunities. John Doe, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Cut the cord with your old fence and recycle it at People.
Now is the perfect that needs green kitchen, because that place for kitchen cabinets in all of Southern California, the kitchen store is having a big sale. The kitchen store is right off the 405 in Culver City with 12-month famous cash financing, pricing to teach the big boxes, a totally free in-showroom consult with an expert kitchen designer, and happening right now, the big sale. So start your new kitchen right by dialing 310 Kitchen. That's 310 Kitchen. Find them on the web at 310kitchen.com. You locked your cat up the street?
Yeah, he's right up there. He's scared to come down.
Hang on, I'll get him for you.
Be careful, mister.
Thank you. Here you go.
Where did you come from? And where's your mask and tape?
Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to clean out the shower drain.
Why?
They were up a tree too.
Well,
Your drain line was really close.
There's a push of technology for all. I'm really disappointed in Google. Google, well, for the last 15 years, had been advocating state absentee, and then it only took them 5 years to basically get permission to provide the United States with something called super Wi-Fi. And instead of doing that, they have their Google Fi, which is fine, it's a paid service. But essentially, the FCC, but with respect to Google, we want you to use what's called the TV white spaces. Basically, if you remember analog channels, like back in the day, you have like rabbit ears, and you'd be able to connect to television through analog wavelengths. But then in the early noughts, essentially between like around 2008 or so, there were, at least in the United States, we went from analog to digital. But those analog channels were still available. Google advocated to be able to use those channels that have frequencies to be able to provide free Wi-Fi to not just the United States, but the world. The FCC said that sounds great, go for it. And Google has done absolutely nothing with it since 2013. I feel like there are definitely some opportunities out there, but it seems as if these companies don't necessarily see the forest for the trees and don't see the end goal. They'd rather have you connected with a bill. But it's like, essentially, if you have everyone on your system, you have access to all of the world's knowledge. And that is far more important than getting a bunch of people to pay a bill every month. And I feel as if, many companies don't see the end goal, that there's potentially much more benefit in giving away your product, even though that means that the person using it is the product. But essentially, giving it away so that you have mass appeal and mass adoption. I am someone who really still am an advocate for free Wi-Fi globally. I really especially feel like this should be an option for people in the third world, or perhaps where really even currently Starlink isn't available everywhere. I feel as if that if we were to revolutionize society, the thing that is holding us back the most is connectivity. I would say firstly energy perhaps, but then connectivity. And with that, I'll take any opinions, or let me know what you think about that.
Ronald Reagan was one of the hosts, and Art Linkletter. And Art Linkletter was probably the most famous personality in the city.
Absolutely.
And he's friends with Walt Disney. So Walt Disney asked him to be one of the hosts. Now, Art Linkletter was fabulous off the cuff. I mean, the guy was spontaneous. He was terrific. He's the one that actually...
Volvo and the seatbelt.
Now, Walt Disney couldn't afford it. He was a private TV guy. And he asked Art Linkletter to host the show. He said, well, yeah, I can't afford you. Art Linkletter said, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to charge you. And all I want for pay is the consent of all the film stations in Disneyland. And those kiosks, Kodak, there was a store on Main Street, and they just had kiosks all over the park. People use.
Shout out to you, Doug, for knowing that. That's a really great statistic. And shout out to Volvo. Volvo did not have to do that, but they saved millions of lives globally because of that. And, not everybody has a Volvo that I know, perhaps, but hopefully when that story is more well-known, it will become a more popular car. Just from what they did from a safety standpoint, they saved a lot of lives. Shout out to you, Doug, for knowing that.
And what the hell in a handout, because what ended up happening, 6,000 people were actually invited, 11,000 showed up because they counterfeited the ticket. And so the park was out of control. The park wasn't ready for opening day. Asphalt was melting, it was 100 degrees. Drinking fountains weren't installed, or certainly weren't in working order. Mark Twain, the steamship broke down and ran off from his tracks. I mean, on and on. But Disneyland, as you know, became a huge success. Now, you've heard the phrase that it's worth an e-ticket. That's an e-ticket ride that came out of Disneyland. And originally, when you got into Disneyland, as I said earlier, it cost you $1 for adult to get in. But you had to buy the ride separately. And here's where e-tickets come in. E-tickets were the big ride, the expensive ride.
And then they went down from then B tickets and C tickets, and then D, which I don't remember any rides on that, and then E tickets. And the e-ticket ride, what were the e-ticket rides? I can't remember which ones they were. Matterhorn was one, because that was an original ride. I remember the e-ticket ride was Peter Pan. As a kid, I went there as a kid. I can't tell you how many dozens of times. I mean, I've been there hundreds of times. I grew up in Southern California, so that was the end-all be-all. I watched everything about Disney, and I watched Davy Crockett and the Mouseketeers. I watched most of them being drug addicts and dying and being prison for the rest of their life.
Go ahead, and I'll go after you.
Mouseketeers, but it's a fun story. In any case, if you bought a booklet that was by far everybody did, no one bought individual rides. And the booklet had several E-tickets and several D-tickets, and that was $2.50, which made the day, and this is mid-50s through a few years later, made the day $3.50 for the day, okay? 1955. Not that $3.50 isn't a lot of money for those days. You know, it was about $35, $40. Can you imagine spending the day at Disneyland for $35, $40? They made it a little bit more expensive. There we go, 2-day ticket, an adult, with at one park per day. You just can't jump parks back and forth, California Adventure and Disneyland, $285. The park hopper ticket, where you can go back and forth between the two parks, $345. Isn't that special? Okay, and then where's the cost of everything else that they had? I mean, it goes on and on. Oh, here we go. If you want to skip the lines, then there's Genie Plus. It starts at $25, but you can pay for $30 depending on the day. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, bypassing the standing line on that one is $20 more. And to get on the ride, if you want additional, just basically add $50 after paying as much as $244 just to walk through the turnstile. So you're looking at, I don't know, $300 per head versus $35 per head. Welcome to Disneyland. And here is the model. And I don't understand what the model is. They'll be studying. We're talking about business schools. We'll be studying the Disney model for the rest of humanity and history. The more money they charge, no, it is considered the world leader in terms of crowd control. There are experts all over the world.
What I believe that Doug has figured in my mind a good question is the videotape format for it. If you're not familiar, there's a period of competition between VCR and Betamax, and essentially the reason why VHS and Betamax, and the reason why the VHS went out is because porn was more widely available. Oscar Wilde has a quote that everything in the world is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power. And that is very interesting when you think about human engagement. Essentially, if we think about AI and computers, what is going to be pushing, what is going to be moving people forward? It's sex. It's always sex. At least as long as we're humans, we will always want sex and more sex and different ways to have it. So then it makes me start to think about computers and such, and like essentially VR systems. And really, I think the driving factor in VR systems will be who can have the most realistic sexual experiences. And then that gets us into sex bots and Android bots. And gyroid bots, and essentially we're trying to bridge the gap between the real and the artificial. And so I would really say to you that yes, I believe that the porn industry is sex in general will be the motivating factor in the advancement of technologies. But I would also say that I agree with Oscar Wilde that is the thing that pushes society. The reason why perhaps we have the best Olympians pushing their bodies to the max is because they want to impress the opposite sex or the same sex as someone else. But for one reason or another, they do it because of sex. It's really why we are who we are. It's part of our species. That's dramatic, my friend, my very good co-host. I bet you're surprised to see that we're still going. How you doing, baby?
So much for Disney. Coming up, it is ROTHSCHILD is joining us. And what are we talking about? Talking about Starship yesterday.
Ernie tagged in. Ernie's been doing absolutely wonderfully.
640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
That's dramatic. How you doing, baby? Go ahead.
We are lumberjacks. How do you even grind an axe anyway?
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I'm Jennifer Jones, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A man charged with starting a brush fire in a homeless camp in Eagle Rock has had his case dropped. KFI's Blake Foley reports live prosecutors have said the man posed an unreasonable risk of danger to the public. A judge allowed the man to resolve his case by entering mental health treatment despite that warning from prosecutors. That decision was made last year, and now that the man has completed treatment, the case has been dropped. The man was accused of throwing a firework out a car window, which exploded at a large homeless camp. 3 people, including a firefighter, were injured in the fire in 2019. The fire was burned for about 2 days, threatened around 100 homes and burned about 45 acres. The man's attorney argued the man's ADHD made it hard for him to control his impulses. His attorney said the court's decision would allow the man to get the help he clearly needs. Reporting live in Eagle Rock, Blake Foley, KFI News. Officials say illegal crossings have spiked 30% at the California-Mexico border, and most of those buses are from countries other than Mexico.
Over 77% of the people we're encountering are single adults, not family units, and not unaccompanied children or minors.
And Dan Anderson says from October 2022 to April of this year, more than 109,000 migrants were caught at the border. For the same time last fiscal year, it was just over 83,000.
Is there a particular area that this is happening in? Right now, Imperial Beach is having a significant number of entries. Anderson says fentanyl features have also spiked.
Steve Gregory, KFI News. The LA County Department high bacterial levels that exceed house standards have been found at some beaches and warns people to avoid swimming, surfing, and playing in ocean waters in places like the Santa Monica Pier, Mother's Beach, Westwood Creek, and the Santa Monica Canyon Creek. Knoxville Farm is implementing a chaperone policy because of an increase in inappropriate behavior. The farm says kids 15 years or older, or 15 years old or younger, that is, have to be with someone at least 21 years old to enter the park and to stay after 4 p.m. If you don't have a chaperone, will be escorted off the property. The farm first implemented the chaperone policy after several fights in July of last year. It was lifted in February, but is now back again. Montana's House Speaker has refused to allow a transgender representative to speak about bills on the House floor until she apologizes for saying other lawmakers would have blood on their hands if they supported a bill that would ban gender-affirming medical use care for minors. Representative Zoe Zephyr was misgendered by conservative lawmakers who demanded her censure after Tuesday's comment.
But Zephyr said she will not apologize, saying that her opponents what they really want is silence as they take away the rights of trans and queer Montanans.
ABC State Packer says Speaker Matt Weiger has refused to even acknowledge Zephyr on the House floor. The Supreme Court could today decide whether women's access to a widely used abortion pill will stay unchanged until a legal challenge to its FDA approval is resolved. The Food and Drug Administration approved the pill in 2000.
I'm
Federal judge in Texas recently
what I
reversed
think
the
is an
approval, saying
interesting
the pill is not safe.
premise as well.
And the UK
What happens when the android robots as sex are better than humans? And then what if humans don't necessarily want, and I understand people are going to want that physical touch, but there are some people who don't. Men who, go to massage parlors perhaps or seek prostitution don't want that kind of stuff. That spots are, perhaps very interesting to them. But do you go down an interesting path where what if we advance technology such that, and we will eventually, the robot or the android bot is better at sex than we are? What if we don't want each other anymore? What are your thoughts?
on the mound. Listen and HQ live from the Falcon Motors broadcast booth on the iHeartRadio app. The Angels lost to the Yankees 9-3. Now the Halos are home to host the KC Royals. It'll be Shohei Ohtani starting. And the LA Kings come home for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoff series against the Edmonton Oilers. That match starts at 7, live in HD on the iHeartRadio app Teams channel. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. Here's the financial update. It's sponsored by Jacoby and Myers. The Dow is down 53, S&P is down 5, NASDAQ is down 23, and the average price of the gallon of unleaded gas in California is down 20.
I don't know if you were here when we had a little bit earlier discussion, but we were talking about human extractors that are now available in hospitals. Okay, so essentially there are hospitals now when before you would have to manually tap or masturbate in order to provide a seminal sample. There are now robots. Essentially, it's like a robotic glory hole.
65 right now in Orange, 62 in Garden Grove, 60 in Burbank, 66
Exactly.
in Coima. Let's get a look at your drive with BKFI in the sky and the 605.
Exactly. I actually think that these types of machines with an AR or VR device will be available almost like coffee shops. So instead of having like massage parlors, you may have these types of facilities, and it may be much more mainstream where people understand that. Well, and I'm just going to use men as an example because that's the only kind of background that I have. That there's a certain idea that if you don't masturbate or have sex, you will have nightly emissions, and that's not always a healthy thing either, perhaps. So for a certain nominal fee, you'll be able to go to one of these parlors, so to speak, and be able to relieve yourself, and it won't be seen as a taboo idea. What are your thoughts on that?
So just be prepared. There's something I think is good. North downside, there's something good. I do want to warn you about an ongoing problem that's going to be with us for a while. And it's going through the Cajon Pass northbound. It's going to Vegas or Hesperia, wherever you're to. But it's North 15 at the 138 fatal crash investigation. You know what happens with those. So a lot to do. Again, it was all lanes that were blocked at one time. And I would Saturday if I went back to all lanes from time to time. So bottom line, the North 15, it's still jammed coming up with the 215. 15 first. Southbound coming through. Not too bad. Little spectators are probably coming through. We're going to look at the San Bernardino Freeway. There was a problem a little bit before Rosedale blocked at the right lane, slowing things down to the 605. So we're on that minute. Oh, and the Hollywood Freeway too. Jeff Bond, AFI in the sky.
Absolutely. I'm thinking I've seen this kind of technology currently exist. Women who get manicures and pedicures, there's a machine that you stick your fingers into it and it automatically gives you a manicure. And you're able to choose the color, you're able to put pictures on your nails in any way you want. Basically, all you do is stick your finger in a hole. That could be one side of the facility, and the other side of the facility could be for men where they stick their dick in a hole. It could be very understood that you're going to a spot essentially with your loved one, and they're going to go get a manicure and pedicure, and while you're waiting, you're going to go have some fun with this machine, and it would be completely normal and also not seen as cheating, because there's still the human aspect, that human touch that machines aren't able to reproduce, nor perhaps will they ever be able to reproduce. And I would say particularly women who wouldn't want their spouse to have engaging in such activity might be might see in a more positive light when they understand that it's a natural emission that a man needs to go through, essentially, or else it will cause him pain. If for one reason or another she finds some kind of offense to it, then those people don't have to be together. But I essentially think that people would be open-minded enough to understand that perhaps just like a spouse might masturbate or watch porn or something like that, they may get their kicks off in one of these silicone robot glory holes, and it might not seem that strange. And I look forward to a day when these subjects aren't so taboo. And additionally, I would like to say that there are a lot of people who are honest, hardworking individuals in like massage parlors and spas and things like that, who work very honestly and never participate in any adult and it does pay pretty well in comparison to what they normally can do. I want to free up those people. I don't want people to have to essentially sell their bodies anymore, or so I should have to look forward to a day where you could have a machine that perhaps can do the do the necessary for the person, but not have to take advantage of someone. Because I really do feel badly for the people who don't necessarily do it because of love. They're doing it because they need the money.
LA is recognizing Christmas park travel town in spite of a World War II internment. I had no idea. So the research that one, Rand is, and we'll talk more about that early next week.
Oh, no, you're absolutely fine. Pastor is certainly aware. He and I have a really great relationship. And he knows there are no taboo subjects here. We are absolutely open to anything. And here we are talking about, you want to know what this machine is with the hole in it? It's going to be called the sex box. Like you have an Xbox, but it's a sex box. And essentially a guy is going to stick his dick in this thing, have a VR headset, and get off his dick. Women will have a similar toy. It will be something like a sex Peloton. If you know what a Peloton is, it's basically like a bike that you can have in your house that has like a virtual or perhaps a real person who is a coach. Well, women are going to have a device. If you want to know what it looks like, essentially, it's like you've ever seen what a hydro massage is? A hydro massage is a type of, it's almost like a water bed that shoots jets of water underneath you, and you don't get wet during it, but it provides massages. And essentially, there'll be a similar type of technology of like a fish that can go up into a woman, essentially, and she can ride it. And so a man will have a sex box, and a woman will have her sex Peloton, and that'll just be seen as a normal thing. Because honestly, you're going to get to a point, perhaps already at that point, just due to the fact that machines can vibrate at a faster speed than humans can. They can provide for more beneficial sexual experiences. So when a man says that he perhaps wants to have sex with his sex box, that won't be seen as so taboo. And if a woman wants to have sex on her sex Peloton, that won't be so taboo either. Now, this isn't something that we currently have, but in the future we will. I mean, we're coming very close to it. And with that, I'd like to hear anyone's opinion on a female sex machine. Basically, it's like a Peloton, something that a woman can ride and have a sexual experience that way.
And no one is upset about it. And it's being considered a success. Explain that. So it did go for about 4 minutes. The engine, as we saw in that first stage, a few of them were out. There were 2 or 3 that didn't fire at launch, and then a couple more by the time the whole thing exploded. So they had lost a few of their engines. Still not clear yet whether that was part of the problem, because
it is, and I've seen them before. I'm not sure on the patent, but you're absolutely right. I think probably the reason why that is not as popular is because you don't want the sex life in your house. It's kind of hard to, hide, and it's definitely a good thing. You really started in like the 1950s and 60s, starting to get into like vibrators that were originally for like weight loss and some other things that eventually became your modern vibrator. You had the Hitachi in the early 1980s that really revolutionized the massager. And then you got, the pocket, the Rabbit, the pocket vibrator. Exactly, and what you have today. So essentially, yes, I think that I've seen that device, and perhaps that may be coming back in the future. Go ahead.
Clear the launch pad without destroying it and test that first stage. That was really the big question mark. The upper stage, Starship itself, they've launched and landed a couple of times with varying degrees of success. But that first stage hadn't been tried at all except to fire the engine off the ground a couple of times, and that's really what they want to see work. It's worth bearing in mind.
You're absolutely right. There's also a type of technology, I'm sure people are aware of this, but it's obsidian. Essentially, it's like a dildo vibrating on the floor like a saddle. And essentially, you can control that. And, if you're not familiar with what that is, just look it up. It's also in the movie. If I could shout out to Howard Stern for featuring that. And essentially, what he would do is have women on his radio show and have them orgasm using a remote control like saddle, basically. So that's certainly something that I believe would be much further in the future. especially because this type of technology, the patent runs out on it, then you can get generic forms of it, and essentially make it more cost efficient for people. I think you may also have a type of device in the future that's like a mechanical bull for sex, essentially that you might be able to order. Essentially, the future is bright for people who want to orgasm and orgasm harder. And I'm all for it. I really think that that is something that we can use technology to improve our sexual experiences.
Versus how many they will have to fly before they become putting people on it. Man, if you're talking about me and you, I suspect we'd like to wait until I have about 30 flights before we go. If ever. Yeah. As far as just having success, and let's remember, what they flew yesterday and what they'll fly the next few times is just a prototype of that upper rocket. It still needs to have a completely field hull, life support system, and seats and toilets and all that stuff put in. We're still working on that. But I would be
I wasn't the one who was someone else was talking about that you.
Before they have a complete success. Okay, anyways, right. We don't want pieces of rocket pieces of people coming down. That's the last thing we need. Why, thank you. His website is pilebooks.com, PYLEbooks.com. Phenomenal website. Rock, thank you. Thanks for getting on so quickly. Coming up, maybe my favorite pillow maker, Mike Lindell. Great story about what's happening with him. And we'll then we have Foodie Friday at the bottom of the hour with Neil as we end our week. This is KFI. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Supreme Court is expected to rule before the end of the day on access to a widely used abortion pill. A new study says states' reproductive health laws are a factor in many Americans' decision on where to attend college.
Well, I wasn't aware of this gun law. That's very interesting. I'm glad to dust them alpha. I am aware of the crime today, where essentially you can have your partner or a third party control it from a different place, and I know that's going to be very enticing to people. And I think that kind of voyeuristic secret sexual desire will be very, very highly valued in society. Essentially, I'm just going to take a woman, for instance, wants to put something in her vaginal canal, and at any surprise moment, she could be stimulated by it. That creates quite an interesting day, particularly an interesting work day. What are your thoughts on that?
A lot of attorneys out there that advertise for personal injury. You hear them here, I see them on TV. So which one do you go to? Well, let me suggest going to handleonthelaw.com. And I'll tell you what. First of all, these attorneys are ready. Second of all, if there's a problem where Mr. goes to one of the attorneys and there is an issue, I make the phone call. What the hell
Well,
happened?
one thing though is all of sensitive equipment, and your average person does not have access to it. Though they may have access to something, pocket pussies or the rabbit or something like that. So again, you may have a kind of a two different worlds of sexual enticement. You have those that have enticement. You have those the haves and the have-nots, especially those who can afford these really advanced types of technology that are going to be very highly in demand, and then those who are just at traditional ways of having sex. To make sex even more enjoyable, using stem cells. I'm a rabbi. I'm a circumcised man. I had a brit. And essentially, there are many Jewish men, but like many men in general, also Muslim men and a lot of Christian men and just men in general have had circumcision. And it's just a way to lie to the feeling. You may not know it, but it does. So what there is there's a type of technology using stem cells where you can have foreskin regrowth. And that's certainly something that's very interesting to people, and that would also allow for the increase, perhaps, of more healing in your genitalia, but additionally an increase in the amount of sensory stimuli in your body. So instead of before having maybe like 3,000 nerve endings in your genitalia, you might be able to have 80,000 if you wanted, just by creating more and more. You can believe there's something called hymen regrowth. If you're not familiar, generally the first time a woman has sex, she loses part of her genitalia known as the hymen, and many times you don't even get to that point. Women can lose their hymen during horseback riding or gymnastics are definitely a way, but it may not be perhaps the way that they wanted it to be. I feel that you can essentially tell a woman she can be a virgin again. And how? Essentially through hymen regrowth, where you use stem cells to regrow the hymen. And perhaps every time she has sex, you can regrow a hymen when perhaps technology has no limit. So, in addition to some of the electronic and technological advances that we have, I believe there are some biological ways that we can enhance our sexual experiences as well. Any thoughts on that?
You locked your cat up the tree?
Yeah, he's way up there and scared to come down.
Hang on, I'll get him for you.
Be careful, mister.
Thanks, kid. Here you go.
Where did you come from? And where's your map and coat?
What? Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to clean out your shower drain.
What?
They were up a tree, too.
Really?
No, Doug, we're having trouble hearing you, but I think I got your point. Yeah, you're right. Regrowth, breaking the hymen every time you have sex might be a messy situation. You're absolutely right. But perhaps a woman is in a relationship with a new partner and they want it to be something special. So perhaps maybe just the first time they get intimate with the person, or perhaps on their wedding night, or whatever it may be. But essentially, there's this idea that men and women did not, really most women, their first time was not an ideal situation, and they want it to be, but there's no way to get that hymen back. I'm saying that with the right types of technology, you absolutely can. Additionally, using stem cells, I believe that you'll be able to have a larger for a man or genitalia. So that means, like, thank God I'm happy with what I've got. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to necessarily have a bigger dick if I'm able to. And so, essentially, I can pursue the use of stem cells and human growth hormone in order to increase genitalia size in humans. And just to give your partner a more pleasurable experience. I think these are definitely options out there. So when people, and then there are people who have like some kind of like medical condition. Maybe they have they have small genitalia or not misformed genitalia, and this definitely happens. What do you do in these cases? Well, currently, sometimes